Hello and welcome to the Rocket.Lab. And today we're going to be talking about DevOps together with Rocket.Chat and some text, some cool integrations. Hello, I'm Duda, community manager here at Rocket.Chat. We have today Floris, our community lead, and also we have Jaren as an invited. Hello, Jaren. How are you doing?
Yes.
Very
Hello.
good,
Good.
very
Thank
good.
you. Yeah.
And also Floris, how are you doing for today?
I'm really good. It's very sunny in the south of the Netherlands, and yeah, I'm really excited to have Jeroen here in this Rocket Chat and to find out about what they're doing. So far, what I know is that they use Rocket Chat for communications, and then instead of what normal other companies do with GitLab or another version control system, they created their own tool to collaborate and to make the workflow as good as it gets or as best as it will be. And I'm really curious on finding out about this technology and seeing and learning new things.
Yeah, that's nice. Jaren, tell us about what you do and what you're integrating Rocket.Chat with. And where are
Yes.
you at
Yes.
least? Sorry, are you on a boat, right? We were talking before.
Yes. That's correct. Yeah.
You are based, where are
I'm.
you based?
I am originally Belgian, working for a Belgian company. But way back, many years ago, I saw the opportunity and I took it to buy a boat and go south. So now I'm in Morocco and working fully remote for the past 4 years.
That's good.
Cool.
Well, and
And
yeah, so what you have as an integration, how you first learned about Rocket.Chat and how Rocket.Chat got into your life, or your working life.
yes, so when I joined the company, my company Pepper One, we were on Facebook Workplace. That was our collaboration tool, but we did not like it too much because you we want to own our own data. So then we start looking for you start looking for an alternative, and we Rocket.Chat was the best candidate because it's open source, so you can expect new stuff, new features all the time, and that's not like the other commercial solutions. That's you cannot control the offer, the offering. So yeah, we're using it like for 3 years now on a daily basis, fully remote. We are a small company, five to ten employees, so it's small. Sometimes lots of new people coming in for short duration, like for a project or a freelancer doing some stuff for. So we are small, but there's lots of things going on because we everything is happening in Rocket.Chat. Yeah,
Cool.
that was our start, and then um, let's say 1 year ago, we felt the need to do something about the way we about the project management. Let's say so we were using Rocket.Chat obviously for team collaboration. We had another project management tool, and the switching between applications that was not always the best experience. So you have, I'm sure you guys know, you have many stuff open. You have your browser, you have Postman, you have RDP, you have many applications open, and then that was something that we did not really like. And then the project management tool, for example, like Jira, that was our project management tool at the time. It was there were tasks in it, but things were not up to date. The status was not okay. Not all the information we should have stored in the task was not stored there because, let's say, it's kind of a team team engagement, and that it was not just not there 100%. So we said, look, we need to find a solution, preferably everything in the chat. That's We all know about chatOPS, I think
Yes,
9-10 years ago, first practiced by GitHub, if I'm not wrong, and then the chatOPS thing became really popular, and we were fully convinced it's the way to go. And so a big mind a big principle there. It's that you do everything in your chat window. You don't go to another tool, external tool. You try to limit these things, but you can. It's not You can, but you shouldn't. So and that's, yeah. And then my boss is a dev himself. He's a really good dev. So actually, he's the mastermind behind the whole thing. We're going to talk about, and we're going to see with our own eyes. So we basically, what we created an API, because you obviously you have to store some stuff. You have to store some projects, and the projects have tasks, and then you need to store who is assigned, who is the assignee, who is assigned to which task. Is there a deadline? Is it important? What's the status? Is it something new? Is it something to do? Is it something in progress? And so on. And that's basically, and of course, the chatOPS means that you handle all these things with commands from your chat window. You could, but you don't go to an app to manage all that. It's sometimes handy to use the app in, let's say, a meeting, stand-up meeting. You want to have a Kanban board uh, to keep the overall view on your project. But that's maybe, like, yeah, a small part of the day, and on the whole day, or in your chat window.
yes.
Yeah,
Before we dive into the actual tool, and because we're really curious to see
Yeah.
how it works,
Mm.
I'm also curious, and as a follow-up question, why did your team decide to build this tool yourself instead of integrating something like Jira, GitHub, or GitLab?
yeah, yeah. That's a good question. Because we were convinced we could do better, because each company has its own need. So these are general purpose tools, and especially for large environments. So I think our tool is best for our situation, and maybe not the best for large enterprise. So I think it will be really interesting for small communities, and yeah, that's yeah. There was just the idea of, we make the investment, and that's the thing with automation. It's always a bet, but you expect it to give you a return after some while. And it's actually, I can say, after 1 year, it's a productive way to work. Yeah,
Yeah,
So
that's nice. I
even
think
while developing,
the good part of the chat op, sorry, Floris, is that the same place that you receive the informations is the same place that you can also give
yeah,
informations to continue the automation, right? So it's handy. So it's there. You have on the phone, you have on the browser, you have on the application, you have so I think that's make that really simple and easy to operate, right?
yeah. We throw everything in it, from the a task. As always, there's some description, some guides, some guidelines what to do, everything in it. And we even use that for support. So we are talking now about use cases. Like, we are all IT people. We do know about, of course, the life cycle of, let's say, IT services. So meaning, you have something. It's the classic Kanban. You have the new, to do, in progress, done, sort of like that. And then, but you can add steps. You can do, before before we close, we do a test stage, test step, and that can be like, you can say, this I did the work, it's installed, or it's developed in the case of development. So we are using that for internal, for all our yeah, all our code, like in the introduction you said, uh, almost all companies use their build system, the feedback from the build system goes into a room to check the health of the stages and the build process. So we do that for dev. We also do that for support. So we invite our customers to a room, and then we do the support over there. It's like you all guys, you know, the threads. So you are used to create threads, and actually what we do is we sort of upgrade a thread. So we give a thread an ID, we give it a status, we give it maybe some property like urgency, or and an assignee who's handling I should not say thread now, because it's an upgraded thread, so that's a task. So and then of course, after some days of work, you will see that in the demo. You have all these threads and tasks everywhere, nicely under each project. And a project for us, that's a room. So if you could have a discussion, a room. If you do nothing with it, then you have a room. You have nothing special. If you type the command to make a project out of it, it's a project. And what does it mean? It means that you can create these tasks. Then it means that you can convert these threads into some uh, special thread that's on the tasks. And you all know the thread view at the upper right on Rocket.Chat. You can see all the threads, and that's already very interesting, because we in our company we see all the threads, but they have a status. So if we scroll down, all these threads with a status done, that's we don't care about that. That's done. So we gave the threads a life cycle. So what's done, it's done. We were not interested in it. So we just have the upper part, 10, 20 threads. This one's in progress. This one's in test. This one's waiting. The other one is to do, and so that's already a little start of project management, because you have these threads and you already have a nice overview of it. But it's not yet the full Kanban like we used to work with in IT teams. So just one thing. So I'm talking a lot about IT, but it can be anything. So we make software for HR, HR software for HR departments, and then it can the workflow. So the workflow can even well be a recruitment process. So we are talking about IT service delivery. How are we going to deliver features and stuff to our end users? We have these steps in IT and HR. These are other steps. It's like, for example, first call, and then interview, first interview, second interview, technical test. So these steps, these can be defined any way you like. So you could do an onboarding process with it. So it's up to the admin, the admin, the Rocket.Chat admin. He has to decide. Like, yeah, of course we're going to work with IT related stuff, because we are used to it. Yeah.
And as far as understood, is what you did is you have a headless Ruby system as a backend, which is connected via APIs to the Rocket.Chat, right? Or do you have another
It's
front end template as well?
yeah, it's a Java. It's a Java Spring.
Mhm.
And that's something to add. We've put a low code server in between our API and Rocket.Chat, because Briefly said, we invested our time into this API, like let's say 1 month, and then the next month we did some little adjustments, some little bug fixes and stuff. 2 months after date, we deployed our API and it's working, and not much changing because yeah, a task is it's pretty fixed, and what the properties are. So this API, we don't touch it. Like for the last 10 months, it's running. We don't touch it. It's good. But we have the need to automate. So we want to add some extra features. For example, at the end of the day, we want a little daily report with the tasks which we have touched for the day, for example, and
Yes.
another paragraph and the daily report with what's close to deadline. So if the deadline is like 3 4 days near, we want to be informed. So that's an example. So a daily
Mhm.
report. If you want to implement it, then we log on to our low code server. Low code is we use Node-RED.
Mhm.
An automation server.
Yeah, very good.
Uh, like Zapier. There are other the last few years there's lots of new solutions in the space, low code space, and we log on. We see our workspace. We put some HTTP endpoint on it. We do some API call to our API. We create a function in this low code environment. So there's some code, but not much. And then finally we loop back to the Rocket.Chat API to create a conversation to post into an existing thread. Another example. Lastly, we wanted to implement some help function. So we logged on to our low code server. If so, obviously, technically, we're working with the outgoing webhook in Rocket Chat. Every message is being analyzed by the low code server. If there's some command in it, the there's the logic we've put in place to treat the thing. So let's say if you do the help command, then we send a private message in return with some 10 15 lines of instructions. This is the command for doing that. This is the command for doing that. If you want to start a project, you do the command project, and so on. So that's another example. So you can open up your box, you can change it, and you close it back. Everything works, and the API which handles the projects and the tasks, which stores them, and that's that's the thing. It runs and it keeps running, and we don't need to change it. So that's the thing. So there are three elements to it. There's Rocket Chat, the low code solution, the low code server, and then our backend API. And actually, we also created a front end on our API to, like, for the Kanban view, and
Oh,
like
okay.
I said earlier, and we have meetings, as our daily meetings, for example. Then you want the overall view, and then you want to manage your tasks via
Yep.
that way.
And we were already very curious, and now we're even more curious. So can you show us how this thing is looking and working?
Yeah, let's do
Yes.
it.
Yeah. 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 Let me see. Yeah.
This is very nice because,
Um,
as I can see, everything was done using Rocket Chat APIs, right? You didn't go
yeah.
as
Yeah. Yeah.
far as
Yeah. Yeah.
creating an
Yeah.
app to integrate. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can't
And
There
imagine
may
what you
be.
can do with create, because for integrating with the app, like writing an app inside Rocket Chat, you have more access to UI elements and all that. So that's nice to to,
yeah,
to
but
think that
in this
only
case,
with the APIs, right?
but in this case, the logic is built in the low code in the Node-RED.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes it more
Yeah.
flexible, and also like project managers and other people who are not so program technical can add and adjust processes.
Yes. Yes. That's the thing. So actually, it is development, but the bar is lower. It's not that you have to have a dev machine and an IDE, and you have to code all the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Node-RED, just as N8N is open source, which is also a great thing.
Yes. 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 Yeah. So yeah, if somebody would want to reproduce the whole thing, he would have to yeah, develop some way an API himself. In theory, you could even in Node-RED, you could use the MySQL
Hmm.
module and store that all the stuff yourself, but that's not a really good practice if you're going to to go that way. Then you would have a headless solution, like you have Rocket.Chat. You could get everything to work, but how do you build a UI if you don't have an API? You have everything. Then you create your endpoints for the UI also in Node-RED, and yeah, that's possible, but would not be yeah, a good practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going beyond the low code, right? You're doing more that the low code is needed, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. So each tool for its own purpose,
Yeah.
and but as you said, Floris, it's the good thing is, so the developers who develop the API, like in our case, for maybe almost 10 months, did not have to look at it. So they are on their new projects. They don't waste time on this API. They done it. It's running, and then you appoint the handling and the managing to like for example a DevOps guy, and that works really well. Yeah.
And the tool is white, or something went wrong with the screen sharing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure here what. Let me see. Let's try entire screen maybe, and then I go. Yeah.
Now we see. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Let me just
So
spotlight here.
what we have here, you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have some. It's a test environment. So it's not production, but we try to simulate as much as possible. So like we can see like 5 rooms here. These are the rooms. So for example, these are all the 5 rooms. They are projects. Uh, how do we know? Because at a given moment, someone executed here the project command. So for example, workspace. That's the thing. And you see here, you got, yeah, we can try this. For example, uh, let's start with tasks first. So if we say, so we are in a project now, which is called collaboration workspace. So we are working, we are trying to create the optimal collaboration workspace. So we made it into a project. What does it mean? It means that we could create a task here. If I go into it, we see here some text, but of course here that's the thing. It's now a task. It has an ID and a status. At any time, I can, for example, here we have an example. Set a deadline. I can say now, for example, planned. I can say in progress.
Okay.
What happened here? I don't know if you could
Nice.
see that the title. So, and what's happening on the low code server? There's some incoming text from Rocket.Chat. It contains a command. It matches a specific word.
Hmm.
So we make a reply on the message. So we do, yes, we put some some hand and some, that's like an acknowledgement. It's a reply. It's a reply from the bot. Let's say it says I'm on it, and then there's another thing the bot, the low code server does. It changes the title. So I can do that again. I can say I need some more information, for example, and I put it on wait. So now here the title changed. We can say let's say I got the information. I can now assign this to my colleague. For example, I can say like this. That's something that we cannot see here. That's something for on the Kanban board. So yeah. For example, I try to see here. Yeah, so that's a little bit more advanced here. So we have another project which is called our custom project management tool. Then that's the thing we are talking about today. So we have some here we will work on our project management tool. It's a project. I created some tasks. I can, for example, let's say we want to. I give you an example. Let's pretend we are on an old Rocket.Chat version, and we want to upgrade the Rocket.Chat version. So I can do here. I can do install Rocket.Chat 4.8.1. Hello.
Now this is calling a pipeline, or that this is just a task already?
That's a task. That's a
Okay.
task because there's a status. If it was a normal thread, I can do normal threads as well. I can say I can type anything and then use the reply and thread, and then we have a classic thread. But this is a task, and that was just because if you go back like 20 seconds ago, I've put a comment at the end of the line. I put to do,
Mm-hmm.
and the backend removed the to do because it's done what it had to do. It's created a task, and now we have it, and it's in a status new. I could say now, for example, I will handle this. Yeah, you can see our character for command. It's 2 times exclamation mark. We don't use the slash. So I will handle this. So we got our reply, and it's now in progress. And of course, it's also assigned to me because I'm telling the system I will handle this. So we were just looking for the I command, and then in the backend, and then we change the thing. Now I can do, for example, let's say install Rocket.Chat. That's a task for me. Let's go quickly here. Kanban. That's just a yeah, we are using Keycloak here. So where's my task? In progress. Let me show you something else first here. I made a task in the weekend.
To use the key cloak because Node-RED is not authenticated by itself.
Okay, the Keycloak is more for the ease of use between Rocket.Chat and the this one here, this app here. So you don't have to log in two times. But it's let me just quickly jump over this here. So this weekend I created a task to create a demo video, which I've done this. So what you see here, we have the chat widget here. So I clicked here on this icon here, the little green one, And now I have the chat right next to the Kanban, which is the same environment as this here. So we have the same. So that's handy for during meetings. For example, let's say we want to clean up our queue, like we have seven tasks. Can we not close one here? Yeah, of course. This one I've done it. I've not yet closed it. So I do. I made the video. You'll find it here, and then you say HTTP, and then you say done. Like here, this is done. And if I do a refresh here, so that was my personal Kanban. So it's still in the our application is, it's not React. We need to do a refresh here. Seven tasks I had. Here is my Rocket.Chat here. So now I have 6 because I closed one.
Nice, and you got the
This is my
notification too, right? The
yeah.
Nice, very
And
nice.
then I do here's my Rocket.Chat task. So I have the choice. I can handle things here in the Kanban board, like during a meeting, but we don't do that too much.
Yeah, you go directly from the chat already, right? From
Yeah, because that's the whole key point here. We're talking about try to not leave Rocket.Chat too much,
yeah,
but you can. And then because you have the need, and during a meeting you have the need sometimes to there's stuff discussed about something, and you want to edit what's being said to the task. And then so that's why you stay here during a meeting. You clean up some tasks, you close them, or you add some extra information you talked about in the meeting. And then after the meeting's done, you go back to your chat. So you put that on a screen, you chat the whole day, and you're fine. You uh,
Cool.
don't have to
And
worry.
how about the Node Red part? Is that also there to be seen?
Yeah, why not? That's quite basic for what I've done here. So this is a test environment. It has the minimum to have something working, and that's good for presenting, because it gets quickly complex. Because like we said, the low code part, it is easy, but it's still development.
yeah,
So you easily, for example, here we have actually there are only, so we have four tabs. So there are four flows, but there are only two which are really important. What you see here, that must be very familiar for you. That's just
Yes.
Rocket.Chat endpoints. It's nothing more to it. So create direct message, create discussion. So this one here is being called from the other one here, from the other direction. Like here, that's the incoming. So that's the Rocket.Chat webhook. Every message goes in here, and then we check if there's a we check based on the thread ID. If the thread ID already exists in our system, then it means it's a task, and we get the details of the task. If there's no thread ID in our database, it's just a message. It's just a normal message. And then there's some logic. So in the case there's no task yet, do we have to create one or not? That depends. As you saw, if I type to do, then it's my command to create a task. So then there's a task which will be created, and that must be here, this one here, the third output here. So that's the logic that will create a task. And then how does it do? It goes to our backend, and then it goes to no, that was Rocket.Chat to check what's the group, what's the room name, and that's our backend. So you see, it's workflow based, no, what is it? Workflow based development. For example, this one here. What's this one? This one is done. What has to be executed when you give the command done. Uh, as you could see, this part here, we do a reply on a message if you do a command, and that must be then react on message. And also, if you change the status, we have to change the title of the task, as you could see here, the title. So the title becomes status between square brackets and then the title. So that's actually that's the basic logic for it. It's not that much. And then, like, for here, for example, I did some monitoring. That's optional. That's more the classic automation. You create some endpoints, and if there's some external service which sends out a webhook, a post request, you want to throw the output somewhere in Rocket.Chat. Like, for example, monitoring, for me, that's alerts. So I created here an a project with alerts. For example, here I get 2 times a day information about the Mongo dump. Let's pretend here that we did not receive notifications about our backup. So we are in the unknown. If we have a working backup system, for example. So let's say I'm logging into my Rocket.Chat. I do some checking here, the alerts. Why is it that? Of course, I have lots of messages. Let's say I don't see the alerts. So I'm really worried. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to do here, for example, I'm going to say backups not working, or no alerts lately. And oops. So the idea behind this is that you don't have to. You can send somebody a direct message, private message. Can you check the backups if everything's fine? But that's not really collaboration. Collaboration is that everything's happening in the open. And, like, let's say I'm going to do this task. I'm going to check the backups. I'm going to put here some proof. What have I done to establish that the backups are actually working fine, and that was just a problem with the notifications, or maybe there was a problem. So we put all the knowledge which goes into that, and solving this task. We put it in the task, and then we say well, let's say it's okay. I should write here the solution was this. Solution was this, for example, and then I say let's see if tomorrow all is fine. Let's just wait a little bit before closing the thing. So I'm going to do test, for example, or wait. I could do one of both. So this one's here going to stay test. So this one needs our attention. It's not closed, for example. What else? Yeah, I told you about the help. So let's say I'm really disoriented. I don't know how this stuff works. I do help. And I got a private message here. So you ask for help, and then it says, yeah, okay, these are the commands you can use to. That's how it works. For example, I can make something urgent. let's say the backups 1 day later, still an issue. That's obviously that will be maybe some other user in the system which will alert about this. Huh? So this is a demo, so everything's happening by me. so so let's say still not okay, for example.
So you were alone on the backup quest, right?
Yes. So I know I'm saying I could have actually I should have done that in one line. So well, it's just a detail, but let me correct this. So
Yes, because it didn't give a thumb up.
and because there was no command
Nice.
in my thing, so now it gives because there's a command there. You
Nice. And
saw
you,
the
and you
red dot
got
here.
a red. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, yeah. And now somebody is cursing because he has to leave his tasks and do this one here.
Cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
would you also have a discussion about you have all these ideas? So what you can do with the ID is group those ideas to become like an epic, which is a collection of different tasks. Is that something which is relevant within your organization or not?
um I would say no. We are not 100% on agile, and so we would create a project for that. So like for example here, collaboration workspace. That's just large. That's a project, and what we could do is make tasks with version numbers. So you could say, um, define what's needed for and then you do for example v. That's like steps. Like what is it in agile? You have a sprint, and what are the components of a sprint? These are
Yeah.
all work items or tasks, or how do you call that? Yeah,
Well, in general, they're all tasks, and then there is like a sort of like a meta task that explains that references all the tasks that are belong into one epic. And if I do this in
yeah,
GitLab, it's also only in the enterprise edition. So then we use labels to stamp them there, and that also
yeah,
works. But I was just
yeah.
curious on how far the automation and the processes went. And yeah, specifically if you do like backups and you have linear tasks, then you don't need to have any epics at all. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
And
That's
another thing,
that's another other structure, and yeah, like I said, this is more for small things. So we can say you can do yeah, like here, yeah, as we know in Rocket.Chat, everything's happening chronologically. So if you and imagine you have like many, so you created the project on the 1st of July, and then you have tasks and tasks, and then you have the month goes by, and then you all have these tasks, and then it's more in a sense chronologically. There's not no direct notion of yeah, user stories and epics.
or sequence
Yeah,
of tasks and events. Yeah.
you
Okay,
you,
cool.
you could yeah, you could do some sequence, huh? If you know what are going to be the all the tasks and steps, you can do like, yeah, you can make numbers, huh? What's needed for your UI, for example. And then you could do you make a, yeah, for example this, and then you do to do,
Hmm.
and then you can say what's needed for the backend, and then you do like this one here. Yeah, I did things inverse. Mostly, you would first want to know the backend, what has what you have from what requirements you have. You could, yeah, like for example, let's say you have defined, now that's done. You have defined what's needed. Now you need a developer, and then the developer needs a developer machine. So you can make a task, prepare dev machine, for example, uh, for Java dev, for example. And I should have done v0 dot, so I can still change that. Uh, Normally, if I'm not tested that here in this environment, I think I have to do again. So no, he does not. So I have to not do that. Oh, I did. Yeah. So and then like I say here, let's say this one here is. Yeah, of course, we skipped all the good things, so all the discussions and all the
Yeah.
information, of course.
Mhm, mhm.
And then, for
And
example,
then
Mhm, mhm.
I got another question. I played before with Node-RED and Rocket.Chat. So what library did you use? Did you use the Node-RED contract Rocket.Chat or the other one, which the Node-RED Node-Chat API Rocket.Chat?
It's all the standard nodes,
Hmm.
because actually there's nothing more than putting an HTTP endpoint in, it's HTTP
Hmm.
in, and then you put a function in between, or a switch, like you
Yeah.
saw, the switch for based on which command you have to do. You have help, you have done, all that. You have some JSON node, because you are communicating everything in JSON, of course. So
Hmm.
the API is JSON, everything is JSON, and then you have maybe um, yeah, that's it basically for what you
Hmm.
see here. So there's
Yeah.
no community library in there, because
Mhm.
you define yourself the objects, actually. So actually you're just moving objects. There's nothing actually. That's the whole thing, moving objects uh forth and back.
Cool. All right. Wow, it's really impressive. Normally, what if we would do this, we would take like a chatbot like BotPress or Rasa and play around with that logic and try to integrate that. But I really like this approach that you say, oh no, no, this thing has an API. I have a codeless middleware and I have my backend, and I'll just make them seamlessly work together. And yeah,
Yeah,
then
I
explaining that your developers don't need to maintain that much of an API, because that was my worry. If you build code yourself, you need to maintain that stuff. But
Yes,
yeah, it's
yes.
Yeah.
really impressive, really cool. Yeah.
For your information, I just downed a container
Hmm.
because there's some, that's more the classic part of monitoring. So we will see soon here. So we have this one urgent here with a red dot, and then really soon, yeah,
Oh, there
that's
you
it.
Another
go.
We
one.
have another
Yes.
one here, an uptime problem, and then
Hmm.
we have here. Oh, there's a problem with our app, for example, and then we start the container,
Hmm.
and then for our part here. So this one here is a bit different. I have an existing task here. So I now this time you can match and do what you want. You can create, let the system create a new task for every down time, or you can say, look, I have one thread, one task, and
Hmm.
each downtime put it in the same here. So that means that you will have lots of messages here, and then one, just like one task here. So that's a choice you make. You don't have to, like, sometimes for this one here was not automatic. Some a human who created the task. You can automate, and then here
Hmm.
this.
Yeah. And so now
So
it
what
removed
happened here?
the red circle, right?
It's done. It should be done.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah,
The other one is
and
gone
then
now. Yeah.
here, task closed. Well done.
That's very nice. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's for the recording. Thank you very much. This was really great to see, and impressive from yeah, like the low code and the whole combination of things. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yeah, it was just I'm sure my boss, when he was like uh, developing this thing, he was really having fun.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
it isn't that what every company does or should do, trying to automate your own workflows and stuff. Why would you? buy a solution if it's like megalithic piece of software like ServiceNow or Jira, I don't know what.
Mhm.
If it's not suits you, because we are really small, and we want to move fast and not that much according to agile methodology, and yeah, we use Kanban, but not the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have one final question. Obviously, Rocket.Chat is open source. Is there any plans for open sourcing the codeless Node red stuff or a part of the back end in order to have contribution and further growth? Or is this something where the company says, no, 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 the back end is ours and we don't share that one, which is also perfectly okay, obviously.
Yes. So at the moment, yeah, not a chance for open sourcing that. Yeah, because that's a company decision. I cannot decide for them.
Mhm.
But maybe, who knows where we go from here? So maybe we can start up some community or some online chat or discussion where we exchange ideas, or maybe some. It's not. It can be easily, yeah, recreated.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, in many ways, like we said, you can do like I presented some API. You deploy it and you forget about it. It's just working, and then the low code, you can really exaggerate the low code thing, as we said. You can really try to make it do anything. Would not be I think any good programmer can recreate the same thing with an API. For the moment, yeah, no, not a chance. Yeah.
Which is perfectly valid. But now that we've seen how this works and this goes public, people can also get inspired. And I know that the Node-RED
Yeah, I really
community
hope.
has their own Slack and open source documentation. So maybe there comes more collaboration between Rocket.Chat and Node-RED and or N8N and, and Rocket.Chat or other of these kinds of open source toolings, no code toolings. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. I would really love to collaborate on that, because obviously we used Rocket.Chat like for 3 years now. So that's open source. It's given us really a really good tool. So we're really open to be part of yeah, a future collaboration, and community based, because we are not large companies. And like I saw, for example, today we have you guys have a Trello
yeah,
app.
yeah. An app for integration with Trello.
Yeah. And
No,
also other things, but it's like it's another domain. I think it's like it's also another approach. Like that's the approach of we have these tools, we want to use them, and we want some integration. The approach here is way around. We have Rocket.Chat, we want
Yeah,
everything in Rocket.Chat, and we want some connectivity with external sources, but we don't want to. It's not just notification. It's more than that.
yeah. I think that the difference is that you initiate everything. Your first approach to initiate everything from Rocket Chat, and then you go out, right? And maybe some integrations are the other way around, right? They use the tool, and then they are only looking for how the tool can
Yeah,
communicate inside Rocket Chat. And I think that's very interesting to bring here, as this can broaden the view that people may have about how to integrate. Maybe sometimes this is the easiest approach, and not easiest to develop or something, but easiest for adoption, right? Because the tools are there, they are using the
yeah,
tools already, so it's more natural to do that. That's
yeah.
very
And
good.
for example, let's talk 1 minute about Nextcloud. Like that's interesting also. So what we could do, I have done it in my test environment. If there's a file which is saved, there's just a notification and some thread, or and then you could start a discussion about it. You can say but the thing is, again, you can do that without what I've showed. But the thing is that this discussion, this is a thread, who's going to remember this thread 1 month from now, where we discussed this document? Somebody saved this file in Nextcloud, and then there was a whole discussion. Who's going to remember 1 month from now about this discussion? If you make a task out of this and you put it in a status, I don't know, in progress or wait or anything, and you can put a deadline on it, like for example 1 month from here, then it will show up in your daily report 3 weeks from now, for example, and it has not the status done, so it should earn your attention until it's done. So there's lots of possibilities.
Yeah, and that's already possible. You can already use the Nextcloud WebDAV file sharing inside Rocket.Chat since 2018. So you can actually see the file that you're chatting about. And then the next step would be to do it the other way around. If I look at the file, then I would like to see the conversation that was around this file. And if I remember correctly, that is also a feature request for the Rocket.Chat Nextcloud integration. You need to check that, Duda. If it's not, then we
Yes,
need to write.
yes.
Yeah.
I checked this, and but the thing is the other way around. They give you the
Mhm.
Nextcloud UI, and then you got Rocket.Chat in an iframe.
Yeah.
But we are not working in Nextcloud the whole day, so we want things. We want to discuss, and then we want some reference or some URL, like with the only Office integration and Nextcloud. That's interesting. You can do you could do, I think, without Google Docs or Google Sheets, because you have now only Office and Nextcloud, and you could put just the URL and uh, Rocket.Chat and all the whole discussion in Rocket.Chat, and you are the whole day in Rocket.Chat, and everything's in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, I
So
think
yeah, now
I
it's
think it's that's very nice, right?
time to round up
Yeah,
because
unfortunately, but we can
we're
schedule
running.
a second one. No worries.
Yes, of course,
Yes,
of
yes.
course.
If some of you guys, yeah, you want to, yeah, I don't know. The thing
Mhm.
is, if you want some proof of concept of this, it's hard work. So that's the thing, and that's why my boss also said, he said, look, there's some it's protected. The code is protected because he knows what it cost him, of uh, sweat, and but I think we could easily reproduce this thing community wise, because the community is large, huh? I was really surprised. Rocket.Chat, you guys now are plus 200 employees, I think, worldwide.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have a bit above, I think, 200, but they are worldwide and it's growing a lot. But I think the most important part here is like the approach. It's very unique, not unique, but very smart. And this is driven, this approach for doing from within Rocket Chat and then going out.
Yeah,
I think this
yeah,
this can create a lot of a new thinking from our community, and so they can say, hey, I can do this for my company, but maybe not for tasks, but for other stuff like requiring something from HR, or this kind
yeah,
of integration. And I think that's the good part of it, right? That we can
Yeah.
yeah,
empower our community to think like that, and have this approach too. That
Yeah.
was very, very impressive. Thank you.
yeah.
And
You're
for
welcome.
me, the next layer on the cake with the candles and the icing is that in this scenario that we just discussed in the last 2 minutes, we have a Rocket Chat community, we have a Node-RED community, and Nextcloud community playing
Yeah,
together. So that it's even more fun to me.
Yeah.
yeah. I think we don't need. Yeah, we did. Yeah, there's only one thing. So the task thing, because yeah, uh, that's the only missing piece here. So, but we can get there. We can get there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there are some Kanban tools that maybe you can leverage them, for this
Maybe,
integration. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like you have
Like
we can,
Nextcloud Deck.
we can. Yeah,
we
I, I
can,
s- I- I saw this
for
one time.
example.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or
I
if
th-
you're already
I th-
using the Nextcloud, in Nextcloud there's Deck, and it also has an API.
Yeah.
Yep.
yes. So yeah, and then I took a look at GitLab, but that's the whole thing. Like you
Too
talked
much,
about
like for
Apex,
this,
and
probably.
that's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the API is not that much. It's just like five entities. You have a user, and the users are sharing the same email address with Rocket.Chat. That's how you link both. You have user, you have project, you have task, you have steps, and then you have something overarching the steps, like you have a workflow. Like that's the thing. So you have maybe an IT workflow, and then you have IT support. Maybe you have just a little difference between IT developments and IT support, and then you have HR, and that's the thing about our API. We It would not be smart to hard code the steps. So if you would, you talked about do that about the the projects like Kanban and stuff. I hope they don't hard code the four typical steps, because if they do that, there's no flexibility. The steps should be easily put in place with anyway via API, or even with the UI. But you should be able to do the setup once, and then it should be easy to add a step. For
Hmm.
example, we did that with we have tests. So let's say I'm the tester. It's test. So I do my tests, and then for me, I've tested, I've done. The next step would be done. But we said no. We're going to put a new step, customer test. So we put
Yeah.
this thing in production or pre-production, and then we want the customer to test. And only if the customer says, yeah, it's working fine, then we can do. We say done. It's finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need a flexible
Mhm.
solution.
Nextcloud Deck has this ability, and most likely any self-respecting Kanban has it. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't have and it's open source, you can always add it or change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. But I think this thing, there are some good developers out there, and they could do it. Yeah, they could do it.
Okay, so I
Not
think
me.
do you have any other thing to put in place now? I think we are unfortunately we are time-wise we are done
For
at
me,
least.
all's fine.
But
I'm
it was
really
awesome.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And we expect maybe we can have this more time. We are going to have other episodes, and we are going to bring a lot of these new exciting and innovative experience from our community. And thank you, Jaren, once more. And it was very impressive. Was very good. Very great talk here and demo. And yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the
Thanks.
kind words, and we'll see.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So bye bye and thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Do that, Floris.